Hello bookworms! Today I'm going to be doing the A to Z Bookish Survey. This is a tag that has been circling around a little bit, but it was actually created by Jamie of the Perpetual Page Turner like a long time ago, and she is a blogger, so I'll leave a link down below to her original blog post with all of the questions in case you want to do it for yourself. So basically what you do is you go through each letter of the alphabet, there's a question for each one, and then I'm going to give an answer for each one. So since there's going to be 26 questions, I'm just gonna start. The first one is A, author you've read the most books from. So my initial reaction was to be like J.K. Rowling, and then I thought about it and I was like, not even close. So the answer to this would have to be either R.L. Stine, Anne M. Martin, who wrote The Babysitter's Club, or Francine Pascal, who wrote Sweet Valley High. I'm pretty sure that Sweet Valley High has the most books, so that's probably the correct answer, but I've read a ton of books by those three authors. And then if I were to pick something that is like more contemporary, I think that actually Cassandra Clare would be the author that I've read the most from like in recent years, because I've read, I want to say, like 8 or 9 books by her at this point. B is for best sequel ever, and for that I am going to choose Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. I don't know why, but I always think of sequel as like the second one. So this was definitely my favorite sequel that has come out in recent years. It's the conclusion to the Six of Crows duology, and it was just so much better than the first book, and it wrapped up the story like really nicely, even though my heart was killing after I read this. C is for currently reading, and I am currently reading Given to the Sea by Mindy McGinnis. Chances are I will be done with this book by the time the video goes up, but this is what is on my night table at the moment. D is for drink of choice while reading, and for that, it's always going to be tea for me. Like, I particularly love chai tea, and also Earl Grey tea, green tea, like you name it, I probably love it. E is for e-reader or physical book. And this one is actually really difficult for me because I love physical books so much, and I always thought that I would never be the kind of person that would read an ebook. And in the past 2 years, I think I've read more ebooks than physical books, which is just like mind-blowing. I can't really choose between the two of them because my preference obviously would be physical books because I like having like the physical object. I love having shelves that are set up. I like being able to like see and look at them and stuff. But when it comes to like convenience, I would probably go with ebook. F is for fictional character that you probably would have dated in high school. And for that, I would have to go with Levi from Fangirl. I love him so much. He was one of my favorite like boy love interests in any YA book. So it would definitely love him. G is for Glad You Gave This Book a Chance. And for that I have to say The Female of the Species by Mindy McGinnis. I put this book back even when it was given to me for free because I was like, wow, that is such an ugly cover. I don't think I will like this. And then when I heard the synopsis, I was like, I'm an idiot and I should have taken this. So I ended up buying it and loving it. And I'm so glad that I didn't let the terrible cover deter me. H is for hidden gem book, and for that I would choose Shuffle Repeat by Jen Klein. This is a book that I read back in December and I loved it so much. I'm like really shocked that not more people talk about it. It was a really cute YA contemporary and both of the main characters were like really enjoyable to read about. I especially loved Oliver and I thought that this was just like so well done, and I still can't understand why more people don't talk about this book. I is for important moment in your reading life, and for this I would definitely have to choose discovering the online book community, because I had been blogging for a little while. I had no idea that there were people that just talked about books online. Like I would write book reviews here and there, but I also would like write about a lot of other things. And I didn't realize there were people that were just like into that one niche. And I feel like I really found like my people when I found the book community. And it's what made me like kind of shift focus on my blog from being a lifestyle blog to being like more book focused. And it also, you know, made me start this YouTube channel, Bookstagram, and like all the book things. So that was probably like one of the most pivotal moments because now I like get to talk to people about books on a daily basis, which is so exciting. J is for just finished. The last book that I finished reading was 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. I read this just in time for the Netflix series and I'm so glad that I did because I ended up really enjoying it. And I think it's a really, really good story. K is for kinds of books you won't read. I try to be pretty open about the books that I read, but I've never liked erotica, so that would probably be like one genre that I never ever reach for. Otherwise, like, I'm pretty open to fiction, nonfiction, fantasy, sci-fi, dystopian, like, you name it, I'll give it a shot. L is for longest book that you've read, and that would be either The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas, which is like well over 1,000 pages long, or Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand, which is also in the 1,000-page range. I'm just not sure which of the two is longer, so it's one of those two. M is for major book hangover, and that is a really easy one for me. A Court of Mist and Fury. I'm actually going to be rereading this book this month, and the only reason that I'm able to do so is because I know that ACOWAR is going to be in my hands in like a month from now, so that'll help me get over the ending because I'll be able to continue and find out exactly what's going to happen with these characters that I'm obsessed with. N is for number of bookcases that you own. So I have 4 behind me, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I have 8 shelves that are like just bookshelves, but then we also have these square like cubby things, and some of them have like movies, some of them have like statues, and some of them have books, but I guess it doesn't really count as like a bookshelf because it's not just books. So I guess 8-ish. But I need more. O is for one book that you've read multiple times. And I actually think the book that I have reread more than any other book is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. When this one came out, this was my favorite Harry Potter book when I was younger. My favorite Harry Potter book now is Prisoner of Azkaban, but this one was definitely my favorite like as a kid. And I cannot even tell you how many times I read this. I remember like when I got it, when it first came out, like I got it the day that it came out, and I read the entire thing, and then I literally just opened it up from the beginning and started reading it again. And I would just read this book over and over and over. I know like the last count that I was at for this one, but it was when I was way younger, was that I had read it 22 times. But I know I've read it more since then because I've reread the series like, I don't even know how many times in my like adult life, but I have never reread anything more than I've reread Goblet of Fire, and I still enjoy it so much every single time. P is for preferred place to read. This is probably going to sound funny because most people probably choose like their bed or like someplace like nice and comfortable, but for me, I think my preferred place to read is actually the train, which is where I do most of my reading. When I'm commuting, it's really nice to just get lost in a book and to know like I can't be doing anything else for this time except for reading or like being on my phone or whatever. But when I'm at home, like while it is really comfortable and like cozy to read in bed or on the couch or something, I do tend to get more distracted by my phone or like just anything else around my apartment that I could be doing, or something that I should be cleaning, or like something else that I should be getting done since I'm home and have the time. I like feel guilty about reading. So definitely the train or a plane. I also really love reading on planes. Q is for quote that inspires you or gives you all the feels from a book that you've read. I'm really bad at picking out quotes that I like remember from books. There will be books that I read where I feel like I will relate to the main character very much, or like there will be certain quotes and stuff that I'll highlight in books, but nothing ever, I'm just not good at like remembering them off of the top of my head. I guess probably the most impactful one that I can think of would be the Dumbledore quote about how happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if only one remembers to turn on the light. I just like the sentiment behind that. So yeah, I guess I'll go with that one. R is for reading regret. For me, that would probably be not having read my Percy Jackson books when I was younger. My dad worked at a book company and he got me the entire series probably when I was in, I want to say high school, and I just didn't read them, and I'm still in the middle of them, and I feel like I don't love them as much as other people love them, and I think it's because I kind of like missed the boat on like that time when it would have made more of an impact on me. I still enjoy them, and I'm actually planning on reading the 3rd one this month because I do want to finish out the series, but I just don't think that I just don't have that same like nostalgia for it, and I'm like sad that I missed out on it because I love being able to like love stuff the same way that other people love stuff. So S is for series you started and need to finish. All of the books in the series are currently out. And for that, I have to go with Dreams of Gods and Monsters by Laini Taylor. This is the third book in the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy. And I read the first two. I really loved the first two. And I just never read the third book. I had been putting it off because it is on the longer side, but I'm looking at it now and it just doesn't seem as intimidating to me, so I feel like I need to read this like very, very soon. T is for 3 of your all-time favorite books, and I'm trying not to repeat anything, so that's why it's not going to be Harry Potter. The first one is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. This is the first book in the Kingkiller Chronicles, and I'm really hoping that we get that third book soon because it's been 10 years since this one came out, so crossing my fingers. But I really, really love this book a lot. This is definitely my favorite fantasy novel aside from Harry Potter. It is very like near and dear to my heart. Next is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. No, I didn't mention this already. I'm trying to remember because I filmed a video earlier and I talked about it, but yeah. No, it's the first time in this video. So next is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. This is just a beautifully immersive and wonderfully written novel. I loved it so much, and it has a really good love story, and it has just a really good like story about magic. Finally, Blue Lily, Lily Blue by Maggie Stiefvater, which is the third book in the Raven Cycle. I love this whole series to pieces, and this is by far my favorite book in the series, so I wanted to include one of them here on this list. U is Unapologetic Fangirl for. Obviously, my number one answer to this is Harry Potter, but like I said, I'm trying not to repeat things. So I think another thing that I'm recently like an unapologetic fangirl for is bookish candles. You can see like some of them on my shelves here, but they're literally everywhere. I am like addicted to them, and I like obsessively sit at my laptop when new releases are happening to like make sure that I get the ones that I need in my life. I just can't get enough of them. I really love them. And the funny thing is like I don't even light them at all. I usually use Yankee candles around my apartment, but I just really love like the look of the bookish candles, and I love the way that they look on the shelves like next to the books and everything. So yeah. V is very excited for this release more than all of the others, and that is A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J Maas. I cannot wait to have the final book in that series. I just love that story. I love the characters. I cannot wait to see how she's gonna tie everything up. This will actually be the first conclusion novel that we're getting from Sarah J Maas, so I'm also interested in seeing whether I should have high hopes for the way that Throne of Glass is going to end. But yeah, I just like, since last year, I've been dying to have that book in my hands. W is for Worst Bookish Habit. I think for me, my worst bookish habit is probably that I can never choose what I want to read next. I recently like tweeted about this, but I have such issues like when I finish a book and it's time for me to pick a new book, I can spend hours just staring at my bookshelves being like, I don't know what to do next, because there's so many options and I just want to read everything. And I think about how like if I choose this one book, that means that I can't read this other book. And I'm like, but what is more important to me to like read first? So it takes me forever, and Andrew tries to help me and it doesn't work. And I just like, no, I can never pick what I want to read next. The struggle is real. The next one is X Marks the Spot. Start at the top left of your shelf and pick the 27th book. The 27th book on my shelves is Ferris by Marissa Meyer. I actually don't like this book, but I love the Lunar Chronicles, so I don't want to unhaul it just because it's part of like a series that I love so much, but this was definitely like my least favorite in all, like anything that's been released for it. Why is your latest book purchase? I just got Big Little Lies by Leanne Morty, so spoilers for my April book haul, but this is has been adapted as an HBO show and people seem to really be enjoying it, but I want to read the book before I watch the show, so I figured I would pick it up. And the last one is Z Snatcher, the last book that kept you up way late. For me, I'm probably gonna have to say that would be Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I was so invested in the story and I felt like I could not put it down like until I knew what was gonna happen, because it was so exciting and there was such like a huge mystery involved in it, and I needed to know like what was real, what was part of the game, how everything was gonna play out, and I just could not put it down. I read it like way past my bedtime, and usually when I try to read books at night, I tend to like fall asleep, but this one I was completely awake and engaged for, which pretty much never happens. So those were all the questions in the A to Z book survey. Hopefully I did that like kind of quickly, but I don't know. We'll see how long this video ends up being. I don't know who has done this tag already, so I think I might tag some people down below. But if you haven't done it and you want to, then consider yourself tagged. And I'll see you guys soon in a new video. Bye!